Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, we got trouble in paradise. We got trouble in paradise. Mike Evans has finally piped up after bottling it all up. And we have our first real contract dispute for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show today. We got open phone lines if you fans want to vent on this one. This one's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough call for me. But I got to say what I got to say. So we'll get into this with Mike Evans. Got my Florida State stuff on because we're it's a football Friday here, baby. Yes, it is. That's right. We're going to preview the big FSU LSU at Burnham from the Osceola. We'll check in with that. Of course, we're going to review last night's frustrating performance for the Gators. A lot of dumb penalties, a lot of stupid football. We'll get into that. And, of course, the Rays start a big series at the Guardians. So much to get into here. Welcome in. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com, a Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our first hour. Good morning to you, Peter Blake. How are you?
Good morning, buddy. And I'm happy to report that Spectrum or Disney did not shut us down tonight before the show started. I mean, What a complete and total disaster if you're a Gator fan, let alone just a college football fan right before the game. No game.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to have a little more extended rant on this later on, but this comes down to nothing but corporate greed. Corporate greed.
Yep.
And we have way too much of that in this world today. And these people don't give a shiz about you. They don't give a shiz about their customers while Bob Iger collects his $50 million annual salary at Disney. And whoever the schleb is at Spectrum that makes $41.8 million a year. Ridiculous. Grotesque. The profit margins are out of this world. And yet they just don't give a shiz about the customer. You don't do that, what you did last night. That's just deplorable on so many levels. Just pull the plug and don't even warn anybody. That's so unprofessional. If you have Spectrum or you have any Disney products, cut them off. There's other ways to do it professional. I know Spectrum's offering a $25 credit if you call up and complain. We'll collect that and then cut them off. And by the way, Spectrum, if you don't know this, you got to wait till the end of your billing cycle because you have to pay. Even if you disconnect like a week into your billing cycle, they charge you for the whole month. They're thieves. They're all thieves. They don't care about you. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But we got bigger fish to fry. We'll get into that a little bit later on. We'll talk about some of the specifics of why it happened. But we're going to start this morning with the Mike Evans situation. And, you know, frankly, this has been brewing a long time. Mike Evans has sat back and watched as other, players who hold out of camp get rewarded with new contracts. He's watched as other players, even on his team, get extended, like Chris Godwin. He has watched as other players around the league that came in like him. Devontae Adams gets $28 million a year, and he has not said a peep. He's gone out there. He's worked his butt off. He's practiced hard, and he's always been about the team. But at some point, it's got to be about you. So he has set a deadline of September 9th, the eve of the start of the Bucs regular season, to get this deal done, or he's cutting off negotiations and will become a free agent at the end of the year. He's in the last season of a 5-year, $82 million deal that he signed in 2018. He's 30 years old, just turned 30. The problem is, not a lot of receivers after the age of 30 are very productive. And that's just the way it is. There are many outliers. There are some outliers. Jerry Rice played for 20 years, right? And just was extremely productive. Amazing player on so many levels. Yeah. Cooper Kupp just signed a $80 million deal that included $75 million guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus. It's actually very similar to the Devontae Adams deal, which was $65 million guaranteed. Basically, it's a 3-year, probably $75-80 million deal. So, these guys are making $28 million AAV, right? And that's a lot less than Mike Evans is making. He currently counts 23.6 on the salary cap because he's restructured his deal. Now, I want to make sure people know this. Restructuring your deal does not sacrifice any money for the player, okay? It just means that the player gets his money earlier in the forms of bonuses, and they extend out the contract for that could include some dead cap money, et cetera. So this is 23.6 this year for Mike Evans. So it's not like they're making huge or any sacrifice at all when they restructure their deals. I hear everybody say, oh, he's restructured his deal. That's not the reason why Mike Evans it's one of the reasons he's a team player. He's always done it, but it's not a huge sacrifice in terms of money or anything. But it's the other things that Mike Evans has done. I mean, he could have been bitching about this contract 2 years ago. Could have been bitching about the contract last year. Could have been bitching about it when Brady came on board. He could have been doing a lot of things that Antonio Brown and a lot of these other diva receivers do. He's never done any of that. He's the consummate team player. If there's anybody you reward, it's Mike Evans. Now, to me, I don't know where the sticking point is here. Maybe it's the fact that he wants more guaranteed money than the other guys. The problem is, even as great as Mike Evans has been, you don't want to be paying him, at 34 years old, $28 million. That's just not something that, if you take the name off the jersey and you look at the numbers and look at the age, it's not something that's going to be tremendously beneficial to the team. Now, I'll say this caveat: the NFL salary cap is going to continue to jump tremendously each and every year. Correct. So that you got to keep that in mind as well. This is a tough call for me. You can go out and get a receiver in the first round that's a hell of a lot younger and a hell of a lot cheaper. Now, is he guaranteed to be Mike Evans? Hell no, he's not. But is he guaranteed to be a pretty damn good receiver? Nothing's guaranteed in this league, obviously. But we've been seeing a lot of great players come through this league, young receivers that come in and take over the league very early on. It's a tough call for Jason Licht moving forward. If you have to pay a quarterback, if Baker Mayfield were to be successful, and then you got to start paying him, $25, $30, $35 million a year as a starting quarterback. That's what franchise quarterbacks get, folks. That's what, if you sign them to another deal, that's what they get. Look what just happened with Daniel Jones. Nobody, how the hell does he get $40 million? Well, you're a starting quarterback. It's your second deal. That's kind of the way it works in this league. Crazy, I know.
Even if you throw only 15 touchdowns, the full
right, exactly, crazy, like crazy money.
Yeah.
But who knows what the future holds? And so this is a tough one for Jason Licht. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they could still use the franchise tag on Mike Evans and get another year out of him. And now that's going to be a hefty tag, but you're not guaranteeing money 3-4 years down the line. And that's where the Bucs want, are looking at it. And what I always say, it can't be sentimental when it comes to things like this. As much as I love Mike Evans, the greatest teammate, and I want him to be a Buck forever. It's a tough call for the organization. And trust me, this is gut-wrenching for Jason Licht. Absolutely gut-wrenching. Because he wants to pay Mike Evans. He wants to be able to pay Mike Evans, but he knows it's going to handicap him at other places that they need to spend money moving forward. So this is a tough one, and the devil is in the details. Now, to me, if he would take a 3-year deal with $75 million guaranteed, I make that deal. If I'm the Buccaneers to age 33, $25 million. I think Mike Evans will be very productive over the next 3 years. But you look at the Cooper Kupp contract. He missed 8 games last year, and he's already got a hamstring injury this year. And Mike has a history of leg injuries. He's got a groin injury right now. He has a history of hamstring injuries, but he plays through a lot of them, right? So this is, as much as we love Mike Evans. And I can't love a player any more than this guy, what he does in the community, how incredibly productive he's been. Some of these players get to the end of their careers, and most of these contracts do not work out in the favor of the team. It's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one. So I would say this, if he's, demanding 4 years of guaranteed money or 5 years of guaranteed money, and the Bucs are kind of, hey, you're 30 years old, we can't go out to 35. We'll go to 33. We'll go maybe 34, but that's about as far as we can go. So Jason Licht was asked about the deal, and he passed on it, right? He said, I'm not gonna talk about it while it's going on. So, and you don't want to negotiate these things in public. I get it, but no. At some point we're going to find out where the numbers are. And, if Mike is sticking to wanting 4 or 5 years guaranteed, if I'm the Bucs, I can't do that. If it's 3 years guaranteed at 25 per, 27 per, I'm good with that as the cap goes up. And if Mike is still productive at that time, he'll get more money after that. So it's gut wrenching. This is a tough one for the team. It's a tough one for fans. It's a tough one for Mike Evans to sit there and watch other people get paid. This is the sausage part of the business, folks. It sucks, but I hope the Bucs and Mike Evans can reach a deal and he can go out there and play free this year. What are your thoughts, Peter?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for me. Even though he's 30 years old, 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons, could go down as one of the greatest Bucs, if not one of the greatest Bucs of all time offensively. And we're not talking about a guy that's 33 years old. We're talking about a guy that's 30 years old, still in his prime. So I think he definitely has about 3 or 4 good years. And I feel like he's right up there with Levante David, right? And you pay him a what? 33, 1 year. You've got to sign him. You got to make him a Buck for life, because you cannot repeat past mistakes when you get rid of a John Lynch, when you get rid of a Derek Brooks. And I get it. Maybe those players seen their best days, but, John Lynch was very successful. Derek Brooks, didn't. He's right up there with Rondé Barber as a Buck for life. You got to keep him in the fold. And just to read this statement, this is from the agent, according to Adam Schefter's Twitter. We have been working on extending Mike's career with the Bucs for over a year. We want the fans to know that this is not a tactic and the ball is in the owner's court. That said, we are giving the Bucs until the start of the regular season to make him a Buck for life. And if that cannot happen, 100% of Mike's focus will be on football and his future, where he can continue to make an impact. Pretty self-explanatory right there.
Yeah. It's it's tough. It's really tough. And I know, Jason Licht we're going to play some of his press conference from yesterday, talking about, shopping at the dollar store and finding some great deals. That's not what Mike Evans or his representatives want to hear. Right. And he's right. He has every right to do it and say it, but it's not necessarily what they want to hear. Another thing Derek Gilmore said, he said, it sickens Evans to see players hold out and get rewarded when he does everything for the organization, on the field, in the community, off the field, working with other players in the organization. He's right. He's 100% right. Yeah. Now, if the Bucs are saying, look, we don't want to, go past 2 years, then that's wrong. That's wrong. I think 3 years seems that's what Davante Adams got. They're in the same class. They're in the same production. They're almost exactly the same. It's kind of similar to what Cooper Kupp got. That's where it should be. And if Mike is, holding out for 4 or 5 years at that number guaranteed, that's a no for me. That's a no for me. So where is the impasse? I know fans want to go, oh, pay him whatever he wants, man. He's the greatest Buccaneer of all time, man. He's fantastic. He's still in his prime, which he's not still in his prime, by the way. That's 30 years old for a receiver is not in your prime. I'd say 26, 27, 28 is your prime. But he's still damn freaking good. And all those other things that go with it. He's on Davante Adams' level. He's on Cooper Kupp's level. So pay him. I get it. But again, if I put it to you fans, if this is the sticking point, he wants 4 or 5 million, 5 years guaranteed till he's 35 years old. You think the Bucs should do that? That's lunacy. That's, as much as I love Mike, that's lunacy.
Well,
So don't just sit here and scream from the mountaintop. Give him whatever he wants. No, sorry. I mean, as much as I love him, this is business. And the salary cap counts. And if we're sitting here and he's, we got 2 years left at 28 per, and he's got nothing but hamstring pulls and can't play, what are you going to be saying then?
Well, I'll tell you right now, they're very creative over there with the Bucs organization, with Greenberg and Light. They know how to definitely work a contract. And then furthermore, you're exactly right. They're not going to be in cap hell here for the next 2 years. You already saw Ryan Jensen. That came out where he, helped the Bucs out, gave them an opportunity to make sure the cap is in good standing. And I feel like after you've shopped at the dollar store this year, you're going to be able to once again, shop online, shop at Amazon and spend some money. And that's how Mike looks at it. So I feel like the Bucs, they know how to handle this cap. I know fans are worried about it. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, Mike's going to go somewhere else. I think the Bucs, the Glazers will get this done. I have faith in Jason Light and Greenberg over there because they know how to work contracts. And once again, like he said, that cap to me is like the national debt, right? I mean, everybody always talks about it.
No, it's not, Peter. It's not a hard cap, but it's a cap. It's a cap. It's not like the national debt where they can just spend whatever the hell they want.
Well,
we're not the Bucs ain't sending $500 billion to Ukraine, all right, or to the New York Jets. We're not doing that. It's not how it works.
The point is, though, the Saints for the last 5 years supposedly are in cap hell, and yet they figure out a way. And I think there is a way to do this if you want to do it.
Well, and that's what we're doing now, Peter. We're paying the piper this year. At some point, the credit card comes due in the cap, and then you have to start over. We're in the process of starting over. And guaranteeing Mike a fourth and fifth year, $28 million or $30 million is not something that the Bucs would be interested. But I don't even know. I mean, again, if he's only asking for $3, but for Devontae Adams, they should give it to him. If he wants fourth and fifth year guaranteed, that's a no for me.
Yeah, that's
a
tough.
no.
That's
so we
tough.
can't just say the Bucs pay him whatever he wants. It doesn't work that way. All right, let's transition a little. We're going to get back to the Mike Evans. We're going to take phone calls. We got 2 hours here, folks. So we're going to get back to that and all the other stuff. We're going to get to the Gators and all that stuff. But right now, Pat Burnham's got to get on the road because he's got a party to get to in Orlando as FSU and LSU. And it's going to be one hell of a party. What's up, Pat Burnham from the Osceola? What's up, my friend? How are you?
Oh, good. Just trying to get ahead of the hydration.
I hear you, brother.
Got a gallon of water next to me. I'm ready to roll.
Well, the tailgate party started at 2:00, about a mile from the stadium at my good buddy Keith Karam's place. So it is going to be on. Please stop by and regale us with your wonderful information. So,
we
will feed you. We will feed you and hydrate you. I promise
we'll
you
be
that.
at the Wall Street Cantina on North Orange Avenue tonight with some former players. And obviously there's a concert down on Wall Street tonight, a country concert. And then we'll be there from about 3:00 tomorrow afternoon on at Wall Street Cantina. And then at Ceviche on Church Street on Sunday. But yeah, man, come on by, have a beer with us, watching football.
Wall Street Cantina tonight. All right.
Yep.
Definitely look into that for sure. Yeah. All right. You want to take some easy low hanging fruit shots at the Florida Gators from last night?
Well, it's funny
that's what we did.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I just got a text from a buddy and it's a meme of Billy Napier and it's Billy Taggart.
Oh,
they're calling him Billy Taggart. So
that is a low blow.
There's my Gator shot for the day. And listen, and I like Billy Napier. I think he's a bright young coach.
I do too.
But listen, it was as bad as everybody thought it was going to be last night. And I've been sitting here saying, I think I told you a couple weeks ago, I think everybody's from a Florida State perspective, underselling the Florida. But anyway, that turned out to be a bad take. So after week one, anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, listen, they're going to get better as the season goes on. They got a lot of young players. Honestly, it's exactly what I expected last night. We talked about it on the show yesterday. That they had a lot of young players going into a hostile environment. I know it's not, a Jordan Hare Stadium, but Utah's won 15 consecutive games. They have I think the second longest home streak in the nation. They're 2-time Pac-12 champions. That doesn't mean much in the South. I get it, but Kyle Whittingham is a winning football coach, and that was going to be a tough ask for a young team with a new quarterback. and they did a lot of stupid things that I expected them to do, and that short circuits your talent. I think they, when they were playing with, they could play with Utah. I thought they could at times, but they just made too many stupid mistakes. That was an experienced, well-coached football team against an inexperienced. I think Napier's a good coach, and I think he's getting a lot of a bad rap right now. But if they want to dump him and move on, start over, hey, good for you.
Listen, he needs to win enough to keep that recruiting class together.
Exactly.
That's what's going to save him is that recruiting class. So if they can win enough ball games to keep most of that intact, I don't think they're going to fire anybody after 2 years, and we'll see what happens. Listen, as you said, I picked Utah to win the Pac-12. As you said, they're a very, very solid program. Winningham has done a hell of a job, I think, in 18 seasons there. He's been there forever. They play aggressive football, and listen, Florida had a new defensive coordinator, and he found out that Salt Lake City ain't Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
No, yes, he did. And I tell you what's the worst part about it is the discipline on this team. 9 penalties at those critical situations, right, Pat? I mean, you got 4th and 1, you're going for it, you get 5 yards back, and then, of course, the very next play, you miss a field goal. I mean, it's a sign of a bad team.
Well, they had some key drops, especially early, that could have got, that first drive. 2 guys dropped the ball. There were several other drops in the game. And listen, I was getting these text threads about how bad Graham Mertz was. Well, Graham Mertz got no help last night.
Exactly.
I don't know that he's Danny Werfel or Tim Tebow. But
by the way, why are you wearing 15, bro? That's just a bad idea. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
I think you. Let's talk about FSU's number 2 and Dion after what was said this week.
Oh my God! Well, transfer just to that. I mean, listen, I don't think it's been a real big secret that Dion has kind of, removed himself from the Florida State family. I mean, he's been poaching our recruits for 2-3 years. If you didn't know that Dion was the enemy, or at least a competitor, we can call him that, then you're not paying attention very well, right? I think people were like, oh, my God, what's he doing? I'm like, he hadn't been a Seminole for quite some time. I think he's still mad we didn't hire him instead, and we still hired Mike Norvell. I think it's working out all right for us right now.
Well, listen, I think he knew that sound bite was going to get picked up by a lot of people. And listen, Dion is always going to be about Dion.
That's right.
As great a player as he was, and he knew that would get reaction. And listen, I think he's ambiguous at best about his not his alma mater, because obviously he made that clear.
Yes.
Of course, listen, he didn't go to class his last semester.
By the way, he said he graduated from the HBCU. Let me see the class recorks. Let me see their grades.
Hey, I think he had to ask somebody what the name of the school was. I mean, I may be misinterpreting that. Maybe ask somebody where he graduated, if they knew where he graduated. But anyway, so fun times. Be fun to see. Listen, I don't think they should retire numbers anyway. Retire jerseys, that's fine, but don't retire numbers. But it'll be fun to see if Jordan Travis comes out in number 2 on Sunday.
Really quick, do you think Dion will be successful with Colorado this year, or do you think he's going to have some bumps in the road?
I think he's going to have some bumps in the road this year for sure. I mean, listen, I heard somebody say last night that their skill position players are as good as anybody in the country, and that was I think it was Joel Klatt. I don't think that's true. They got some young guys that played at small colleges, Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter included. We're going to find out how they do when they start lining up against TCU and Nebraska and some of the teams that they're going to face this year. I think it has a chance to be a rough year for Dion. I think the second year for him will be much more important to his future as a major college head coach. And this is a wash. No matter what happens, he's got to prove he can. The only way this would be if it's some anomaly and they were able to go 7-5, 8-4, something like that, then he might be out of there after a year. But no, I think it's going to take some time to develop that program. And being a head coach at Jackson State is different than being a head coach at Colorado. The offenses and defensive coaches they're going to face and some of the talent they're going to face in those teams are not going to be like he's faced at Jackson State. So there's always a learning curve. You see it all the time when a coach moves up in the ranks, and I think that'll be the situation at Colorado this year.
Well, they say it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmy and Joes. If that's the case, then he's going to have a really good football team. But I got news for you. It's a little bit about the X's and O's. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Listen, this is why we play the games, baby. I can't wait to see it. I'm very, very excited to watch them go against TCU, which of course has lost all their big playmakers. So I have no idea what TCU is.
Yeah,
they got a damn good coach.
It's much to watch television, no matter what happens.
Yes. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
like Sunday night, for instance. And if you have Spectrum, you won't be watching it.
My God. Sunday night's going to have some Jimmys and Joes running around.
There'll be a few Jimmy and Joes out there. Boy, this is, and I don't want to overhype it, but when you go down the roster, this FSU roster, it's jam-packed. I'm not saying it's 2013. That was an all-time roster. But it's pretty damn good, and I'm excited to see how it all comes together against LSU. What are the latest developments? I know LSU's lost a couple of players this week. What are the latest?
Yeah, well, obviously one of the running backs, John Emery, has been ruled out of this ball game for whatever reason. He missed the game against Florida State last year. Josh Williams, who is expected to start, has also been rumored to have been a little bit dinged up this preseason, and I talked to a guy last night with the LSU rival site, Death Valley Insider, and he thinks Josh is going to play. And so Josh Williams and Noah Cain will obviously replace John Emery. And listen, they'll be without Mason Smith, the defensive tackle, who I think we talked about last week, who was suspended by the NCAA and should not have been. It's about as silly as Daryl Jackson being not granted his waiver. So listen, those are probably the two big things, Mason Smith and John Emery not playing. Florida State did get Fabian Lovett back in practice this week, and I think you can go back and look at the stats from last year. I believe the difference in yards per play was almost a yard more per play when Fabian was not in the ball game last year.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
And of course, listen, now you're going to put some really good people next to him, and Braden Fisk and Josh Farmer and Dennis Briggs and Malcolm Ray. And on the outside, Jarrett Verse, Patrick Payton, Gilbert Edmond. So listen, I think it's going to be, we talked to the LSU guy last night. He's talking about they expect to go, the fan base expectations there is 10 or 11 wins. LSU expects to compete for the SEC West, which obviously just about year in and year out is the toughest division in any conference in football.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, Georgia's kind of changed that to some extent with their run the last several years. But obviously, the SEC West is if you're winning that, you're a pretty damn good football program. And then you got Florida State, who I believe inside that building, they think they are a prohibitive favorite to win the ACC. I think they've got expectations, unfinished business from last year. They obviously had a great year at 10-3, but I think that Jordan Travis and Jared Verse and guys like Fabian Lovett, I think they want to get Florida State back to ACC championship level. And so I think as good as they were, I think this team is still really motivated, and I think it's got a chance to be a classic like it was last year.
Pat, you talked about the alumni for FSU. How do you think they view this game? And in your opinion, if FSU can get over the top over LSU, is this a get-back game where everybody says, finally, FSU is back in the national conversation?
Well, listen, I think that would put a bigger target on their back. I think they are back in the national conversation. The fact that we're talking about them, obviously a top 8 team, they're ranked number 8 preseason. I think the expectation for Florida State fans is they want to beat Clemson, and they want to beat Clemson in the ACC championship game. Now they'll take whoever they get in that game if they can get there. But I think when they dethrone Clemson from the ACC, I think that's when you're saying, hey, they're back. We're now talking about them being in the college football playoff. If they win the ACC, there's obviously a chance depending on what their overall record is. But yeah, listen, I think they are back in the national spotlight. I think this year is important to keep them in the national spotlight and prove that last year was not a one-off and that Mike Norvell can consistently get to double-digit wins. And obviously, listen, we talked about Florida's recruiting class. Florida State's got a great recruiting class. Winning is the biggest selling point you have in recruiting. So it's important that Florida State meets last year's. No, I'm not going to say they have to win 10 ball games.
Yes, they do.
I've said the word. I've said the absolute rock bottom is 9-3 to me. I don't think so. I expect them to win 10 or 11 ball games. But listen, I think that this is a big game. I think it's as big as it was last year. The winner of this game is going to have a ton of confidence coming out of it. Depending on how the loser looks in this game, you might go back home kind of question yourself. So, so I think the optics of how you lose a game like this matter.
Yeah,
but yeah,
of course.
listen, I think right now Florida State is. I think everybody on their schedule is concerned about how good this team could be, particularly if it's able to stay healthy the entire year, because it's starting 11 on both sides are as good as it's been, as JP said, probably since obviously 2013 was great, but I'm going to say, probably similar to 2014, JP. Obviously, roster was not quite as good as 2013, but listen, I think I think they've got a chance to make some noise, and I'm excited to see this game. I'm excited to see how this season goes. I don't know how. I think JP, I might have mentioned to you last week. I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, how do you line up with 5 in the box and Jordan Travis at quarterback? And if they decide to go 2 tights, but you got Johnny Wilson and Keon, how do you line up with 7 in the box? It's
matchup nightmares everywhere. Jaheim Bell. Yeah. I mean, and then you got the best running back in the nation in Trey Benson, if you're looking at some of the numbers, and an offensive line that's as deep and as good as we've ever seen. Yeah, the offense is an embarrassment of riches. I was watching Peter Burns yesterday on ESPN talk. He was downplaying FSU, thinks they're overrated. Okay.
Isn't he from Louisiana?
I believe he is. Yeah. And talked about what a huge coaching advantage LSU has in Brian Kelly over Mike Norvell. I will say this. I think at times last year, Mike managed the game like he was still at Memphis. He too many trick plays, too many maybe gambles that don't need to be taken when you have a football team as good as you have. Yep. Obviously, he will evolve with that this year. Right. I believe that. But I don't think there's a huge coaching advantage here. I think Mike's a pretty damn good offensive mind. I think we've seen that. Brian Kelly is too. I'm not just but I don't think there's a huge coaching advantage here. Do you see that? And I think special teams, which is one of Norvell's specialties, and won the game last year with a blocked extra point. I think that's a factor here too.
Well, listen, Brian Kelly's resume is a little bit longer than Mike's. There's about probably 20 years difference in age. I think Brian's probably around 60. I don't know that for sure. Mike just turned 40. He's seen more football than Mike. Maybe that's an advantage. But I think that they run different offenses to some extent. And I think Mike is really good at what he does with his offense. And innovated and creates mismatches with formations and motion and, misdirection, all those things that he does well. I mean, and then, Brian's a little bit more different. He's a little bit more grounded with his offense, particularly at Notre Dame. Now, obviously, this quarterback, Jaden Daniels, gives him something he did not have at Notre Dame or Cincinnati for that matter. But listen, I don't think there's a distinct advantage. I think they're, I would hate to be the defensive coordinator coaching against either one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they both of them have a chance to be explosive on offense. And I think it's going to be a shootout, but no, I don't think there's Mike is aggressive at times. And sometimes you would wish he would be a little bit more aware of what's going, the chart says this, but what does the crowd say? What does your team say? What does momentum say? Yes. So, but listen, you got to take some chances in life and to move forward. And Mike's an aggressive guy, and I think he'll be aggressive in this game as we have seen him in other games.
All right, before you get out of here, give me a pick. I got the over in this game. I'm trying not to take sides.
The over is 56. Yeah. I would take the over all day because I think it's going to be over 60. Yeah. I've got 38-36 FSU. Listen, I'm hope somebody can stop the run. Florida State can stop the run. Obviously, that allows them. Listen, I think whichever team stops the run is going to give themselves a decided advantage because they have elite pass rushers on both teams. And if you can pin your ears back and get after the quarterback, I think that gives you a huge advantage. And listen, with both offenses being so good, JP, extra possessions, right? Whether it's a turnover, fake punt, fake field goal, fake onside kick, get the ball in extra time, because I think possessions by team will be a critical stat as we come out of this game. Who had the most possessions is probably going to win this ball game if I had to go with any one stat. And then, of course, as it always does in these big games, whoever wins a kicking game. But I think those three things are the keys. And I think Jordan Travis is the better quarterback, and it's a quarterback-driven sport anymore with RPO offenses, and he's one of the most dynamic playmakers in all of college football, regardless of position. So I'm going Florida State 38, LSU 36.
Love it. All right, I'm right there with you. I got 40-37 FSU. Over. Peter, you got a pick?
Yeah, 34-27 FSU.
All right.
What was that again?
34-27.
Okay, all right. I thought you said 47-27. I was like, hold on a second. I'm not sure this is a 20-point ball game.
No.
All right, Pat, tell everybody how they can get your great content and where y'all be hanging out once again.
Go to theosceola.com or floridastate.rivals.com. We've got our interview with Jermaine Every from the LSU Rival site. Then we spent 30 minutes with him, asked 10 questions. I just posted my LSU preview or scouting report. And then, of course, tonight we will be at Wall Street Canteen at 19 North Orange Avenue in Orlando.
Oh, I think we lost him. So we'll go ahead.
Timing is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it, buddy.
Off of there. There we go.
All right. We're going to get back to the Mike Evans situation. I know we got Twitter's going crazy. Calm down, fans. Mike Evans isn't gone anywhere just yet. Calm down. It's all good. We'll see where this heads, but we'll get back to that story and much more here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and, of course, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you have any issues with your insurance company after the storm, the Jeeves Law Group is the place to go get that personal attention. JEEVESLawgroup.com. Or if your car got totaled, you got submarined, it's underwater, make sure that you get what you deserve. The Jeeves Law Group, that is in their wheelhouse. JEEVESLawgroup.com. All right, Peter, take us to break. We'll be back. Talk Mike Evans. Stay with us.
Here for the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work, you save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports.
It's only just begun.
All right, we're back here on the JP Peterson Show. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with JP Peterson. How you doing, buddy?
I'm better now.
Good, that's good. Open phone lines if you want to call up and talk about the Mike Evans situation. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. In case you can't get through, the other number is 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the JP Peterson Show. There you go.
All right, partner. Evidently, I'm watching Twitter a little bit, and Bucs fans are going a little bananas when it comes to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of said what I said earlier on. The devil is in the details here. You know, I know every Buccaneer fan with their heart wants to open up the wallet and just, you know, give him whatever he wants. And that's just, you know, as much as we love Mike Evans, that's just not the way it works. And you know, you look at the Devontae Adams deal, that's it. You know, it's 3 years. You don't want to extend more than 3 years. Look, you can give him a 6-year deal. And if Mike's playing well, let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. The, you know, team will certainly have the option. But again, if we get to 33, 34 years old and, you know, his hamstrings are giving out, as much as we love Mike Evans and how much as you guys love the Buccaneers, what's that going to do for your football team? And the bottom line is, you know, this team is probably still maybe 2 years away from contending for a Super Bowl, a year. You never know in the NFL, right? Hell, you know, Madden has the Bucs in the Super Bowl this year, but you know, you got to have a lot of things go your way. So it's a tough call. And I'm not saying don't pay Mike Evans. I'm saying don't pay him for 4 to 5 years guaranteed. So what's he asking for? I don't know. What's the impasse? I don't know. And Jason Light's not giving us any information. The so far the agent hasn't given us any information. So, you know, fans, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, are you surprised by this turn of events? Because all we heard throughout the offseason was, you know, this extension was going to get done. And then you hear from Stroud last night that, you know, it's not necessarily going to get done. And then you have the announcement this morning from Adam Schefter and, of course, Evans' agent. So I think a lot of people are kind of shocked because a lot of Bucs fans heard during this offseason was it was going to get done, or the national media would put out there, Mike Evans needs to be traded. He's going to be traded. Even there was an ESPN scribe that said, he could be a candidate to be traded. So I think there's a lot of fans out there woke up this morning kind of shocked by this news, thinking that, basically the Bucs were going to get this done. And now, maybe not so much.
Well, I think, the trade stuff, that's coming from the agent. The agent wants it out there that there possibly could be a trade, so fans go bananas, maybe put some public pressure on the organization to get a deal done. That's not happening. They're not going to trade him because what are you going to get for Mike Evans at this point? Mike Evans is a great receiver, but nobody's going to give you a first round pick because they know they can go out and use a first round pick to get a younger, much cheaper receiver. Sure. It may not be Mike Evans. I get it, but he's also going to be a hell of a lot cheaper, and he might be 80%, 70%. You go get a Garrett Wilson, you go get an Olave. There's, Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase. They're coming out every year, right? And they're a lot cheaper than what Mike Evans is this year. I'm not arguing against giving him money. I know fans will go bananas. I'm just saying there are options here, and you can't run a football team with your heart. You can't. It doesn't work that way. If you do, you're going to have a really crappy football team. I'm telling you, nobody loves Mike Evans more than Jason Light. And if there wasn't a salary cap, or the Glazers, if there wasn't a salary cap, they would give him a blank check. That's how much they love the dude.
He was his first draft pick in 2014, and people don't even give him credit for that because – and to me, he's a Hall of Famer. I know we went back and forth on this, but he's a Hall of Famer wide receiver.
Not yet.
To me, he is, but we'll see. But great pick by Jason Light. It's his first pick. You're exactly right, and I feel like the organization does want to sign him, and I think the fan base wants it too. So there's always financial constraints there, but I definitely think the Bucs have been able to do this throughout the years. And like you said, maybe they're 2-3 years away. Maybe it's just 1 year away. I think a lot of people also consider, you look at it from the standpoint of, you got Chris Godwin, he's a younger option. Possibly, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but the emergence of a Trey Palmer, maybe that could sway the Bucs, but I still think they get it done at the end of the day. What do you Bucs fans think? Open phone lines if you want to get in on the JP Peterson Show. So, yeah. I'm
trying to look at some of the this is. Did you read the full statement from the agent? Let me just get most of it here. He wants to be a Buck. For the past 9 years, Mike has set records on the field. We're surely put him in the Hall of Fame. He is considered one of the most selfless teammates by his peers. Yeah, that's all part of it. Yeah. Despite our efforts over the past 2 years and the professionalism of Bucs GM Jason Light and Mike Greenberg, would not be received an offer to stay in Tampa. We have not received an offer to stay in Tampa. This is disappointing to Mike, who sees his team step up to keep key pieces and players that are important to their organization. Look, it hasn't been time for Mike to get his extension. Now is the time. He's been well paid. He was well paid in his last deal. He was one of the top receivers at the time that he got that deal. And it's time for him to get another one for 3 years. Maybe the Bucs just want to do 2, and I don't think that's right. I think that, to me, 3 years, 28 is the sweet spot. $30 million. That's where it is. But again, folks, paying receivers that much money, you're also paying Godwin a whole lot of money. You got a lot of wasted money in Russell Gage. You're paying the wide receiver spot a lot of freaking money right now. Yeah. So just got to keep that in mind.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Jeremy. I'm a big fan of the show. JP, I met him about last year at a training camp and stuff.
What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, rough loss last night, man. I won't be talking no more crap for a while.
Listen, Billy Napier's got the second-ranked recruiting class in America. That's the only thing you got to worry about right now. What this team does this year, it's like Mike's second year. It's going to take some time. There's a transition. He's a good coach. He's a good recruiter. Give him some time. Last night, you have a lot of young players in new spots, hostile environments. Exactly what I expected. That's why I had the under. They're not going to win a lot of games this year. Ain't going to win, 8-9 games. It's not going to happen. But win the ones you should win. 5 wins, keep the class together. You'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried, but I just wanted to get to the Mike Evans situation. Like I said, I woke up to it, and I just kind of like shook my head. I'm like, okay, I knew this time was going to come. But the main important thing is I have trust in the Bucs organization that they will find a way to come to a solution to resolve this, because Mike loves being here. He's done a lot with the community. He's been a team player, restructuring, he'll create cap space. I just don't see him going to another team. I just think it's more of a leverage thing, and I have trust in the organization that they'll get a deal done. Fans just need to relax, let them play football, let the experts handle the contracts, and just wait and see what happens. I'm praying for the best. Mike's my favorite player. I appreciate many other favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's a business.
Well, Jeremy, I think, again, it comes down to the rub of this. I think Bucs fans want to just open up the wallet. How many years would you pay him? I mean, the going rate for an elite receiver is $28 million. That's what Devontae Adams got. It's about what Cooper Kupp is making, the last big contracts. Would you pay if he wants 4 or 5 years? Would you do that?
It's a tough one. After listening to what you were talking about,
wow.
It makes a lot of sense. It's tough, but at the same time, I think 2 to 3 years, at least 3, paying him 25 to 26 is fair. And I don't think Mike's going to be that greedy on the amount of money he's getting. I think he wants security. Makes sense because of his injury. He's been battling over the years, battling it out, being a tough person. He's one of the toughest receivers I know in the game. So I must say, 4 to 5 years is a tall asking price. As much as I love Mike Evans, as much as I want him to stay, but like I said, it's a business, and we got to pay, man. It's just worse. I know he's not going. He's not going anywhere. He's gonna be the highest paid lineman, and then you got to pay Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, it adds up, and we got Chris Godwin already. And at the end of the day, this might sound messed up, but I would let Chris Godwin go to keep Mike Evans. But
wow,
Jeremy,
I don't know about that.
Blasphemy, Jeremy. What are you talking about?
Keep them both at the end of the day. All right, Jeremy, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate
it. Jeremy. Thanks for being a fan of the show, buddy. Love you.
Yeah, open phone line if you want to get in on it and talk about the Mike Evans situation, because I know there's a lot of passionate fans out there, and you got all kinds of comments here. So,
well, here's one that Christopher Cole just put in here, and this is part of, and this is what I've been talking about with Devin White. They need to trade Devin White. They don't need to trade Mike Evans.
Right.
I'm 100%. Look, you got Servastier Dennis, who has shown that he can play the position. I think he's going to be a good pro. And again, even if Devin has a great year, I'm not paying an inside linebacker $20 million a year. I'd rather give that money to Mike Evans.
Agree. All right. Let's go out to the phone lines. Mike, welcome to the JP Peterson Show. What's on your mind?
Yes. One thing, Billy Napier must know clock management.
No clock management for Billy Napier. Okay.
What was your problem with it last night? The clock management.
The defense gave us plenty of chances, coupled with Utah's gaffes they had on where they went for that onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
So, but aside from that, our defense has to show up from the first quarter and then from go, because I seen where they were lining up both sides and they looked confused and they even lined up, they weren't even ready. So
yeah, they did look confused at times. They did. Yeah.
Now on to the Mike Evans situation.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the man. I'm sorry, but we can afford to lose Gage. I don't care about Gage. We need to pay him, because this is we're at a situation where we really want to see Mike Evans in a different uniform.
No, I think that's every Bucs fan's nightmare. Are you willing to pay him over 3 years? Are you willing to give him a 4 or 5 year contract? Are you okay with that, Mike?
Yes,
okay.
If it's a retirement contract, yes. I want to see him. Don't mess up. Like my direct message to the front office is, don't mess up like we did with John Lynch and Warren Sapp and let them take their talents elsewhere.
All right. Good stuff, Mike. Appreciate the call. Absolutely.
Listen, I don't want to do revisionist history here, but, Derek Brooks is he and Rondé Barber, 1-2, my favorite players, my favorite humans of all time. Derek was, at the end of his career, there weren't a lot of teams, lining up to get him. I know he still wanted to play, but he could not play at the level that he played. I don't want to see, a second-rate Derek Brooks out there. I know he wants the money. We all do.
Right.
If you're going to pay me to play, I'll hobble around out there and do it. But I didn't want to see a broken down Derek Brooks go out there and play. He played his ass off for way too many years.
Sure.
John Lynch, they made a mistake, and that was a medical mistake. That was not about money. That was a medical mistake. They thought his career was over with the neck injury. The Broncos saw it a different way, and he made four more Pro Bowls. That was a medical mistake. As far as, but, again, if you say pay him. Well, but pay him what? $75 million a year? $100 million a year? I mean, the devil's in the details here. Yeah. And that's what we don't know. That's what we don't know. Again, unless we know that, I don't know which side to pick. I'm just going to tell you what I think is fair, what the team should offer, and what's fair to Mike. I think that's where the common ground should be.
Yeah, the comments are blowing up right now on all social media platforms, especially X. I guess fans are going crazy. Facebook right now, I posted it, at least 100 comments already. I mean,
well, let's hear some of the comments.
Yeah, let's go to read some of these comments. If they don't sign Evans, then the Bucs will be going with Glazer out. Mike deserves the bag, says Jeremy Lowe. Palmer about
how much in the bag? Everybody says he deserves the money. Okay, we all agree he deserves to be paid. How much for how long? That's the thing, folks. We're not going to be one of these shows that doesn't go into the details and just wants to scream and yell and not talk about and get down to it. We're going to keep it real here. All right? Pay the man. That don't mean shit. Everybody wants him to be paid. All right, and the Glazers aren't sitting there counting their shingles like Stu Sternberg. All right, or shekels. I should. Maybe they are their shingles. They're not sitting there, not like Stu Sternberg. No, they will pay the money. That's not the problem here. You think Jason Licht doesn't want to pay Mike Evans, but he's got to have a bigger vision in mind. Yeah. Like 2, 3, 4 years down the way, we got to pay all these other guys. Everybody wants to pay Mike Evans. Okay, you want to pay Devin White too? You don't want to play Tristan Wirfs? You're not going to. What if Trey Palmer blows up and becomes an incredible number one receiver? You're just going to let him walk at 26 years old or 25 years old and keep a 34-year-old Mike Evans? No.
It's a good point.
I mean, everybody, it's easy to say, pay the man. The Glazers are cheap. Come on, people. Let's keep it real. What are you paying him? How long? And if Mike wants 4 or 5 years guaranteed, I can't do it.
And listen, this whole idea the Glazers are cheap, they're not, because the last couple of years they went all in with Tom Brady.
Of course they did.
The Super Bowl, and they absolutely know what Mike Evans means to this franchise, not only to this community, but the franchise and organization overall. So they're not cheap, but they're willing to pay. They're willing to open up their pocketbooks, if you will. Let's go out to this comment here from Jordan G. For example, if Stamkos came this season and told the Lightning, I want 12 to 14 million, even though I'm 32 years old now, I'm not going to sign him to a team friendly, even though it's my last contract. Now, you work closely with the Lightning organization. You know how important Stamkos is to them because he turned down more money because he could have went to Toronto. If Stamkos in that situation goes like that, do you think the Lightning would walk away from him?
No, of course the Lightning aren't going to. And listen, that's coming up here too. I'm sorry, I'm reading some of these other comments on Twitter.
Yeah.
John Ledyard said, seems clear from this statement that Licht isn't the one standing in the way of the new deal for Mike Evans. Statement says the ball is in the owner's court, specifically commends Licht and Greenberg in negotiations. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that is interesting. He brings up a really good point. I mean, for the life of me, I don't know why the Glazers would balk at what Jason Licht is trying to get done. I think this may be the agent trying to paint the Glazers into a corner. I I know that the Glazers trust Jason Licht implicitly. They're going to do what they're not. I cannot. I'm sorry. I cannot believe that the Glazers are the ones saying, "Oh, we don't want to pay Mike Evans." If Jason Licht is telling them, "Here's a fair deal," the Glazers aren't going to say no. I'm not going to go there. I don't. Why they haven't? That hasn't been their MO. I know these gentlemen. That's not something that they would do. I mean, dude, talk about flush with cash. They're about to get $7 billion from Man United.
Right.
I mean, make a $4 or $5 billion profit. You think they're counting their money? No, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not dismissing John Ledyard. He knows his shit. There's no question about that. Very learned guy. But I think what's happening here is the agent is trying to frame it like the Glazers are being cheap. And I don't see that. And again, listen, if I'm the agent, I'm telling Mike Evans, you deserve 4 or 5 years, bro. We're not budging. We're not coming to, I know Devontae only got 3 and Cooper Kupp only got 3 years guaranteed. We want more. We're next one up. We're going to break the ceiling. Of course, that's what his agent is saying. That's the agent's job. I get that. Mm-hmm. But, is Mike Evans, I'm not questioning his talent. I'm not questioning his desire. I'm not questioning him as a teammate. None of that should ever be questioned. He's elite in all of those categories in the community. Elite. But this is a business. And I'm not going past 3 years guaranteed.
Yeah, I think there's some people that would say the same thing with you. They would be sensible. And then there are other fans that say, you know what, you got to pay him no matter what because he is a buck for life. Here you go. Why get rid of a proven 1,000-yard wide receiver, him and Godwin, and the only 2 reasons we can get a great quarterback to come here? I mean,
Why? Because he wants too many years guaranteed. Because I don't want to pay him $30 million at 34 years old. Yeah. That's why, bro. I mean, do you want to pay? I mean, it's so easy. I don't mean to get upset at this user, but it's so easy to say, here's another one. Pay the man. He's earned it. Pay him what? How much? How many years? Put it down. Pay him. He's earned it. Duh. Yes, he's earned it.
Yeah.
He needs to be a buck for life. Oh, well, let's give him a 10-year guaranteed contract at $30 million. Yeah, $300 million. Let's do that. Buck for life. Yes. Yeah. Buck for life. He's earned it. Yeah.
You're not going to do that because, again.
Well, what are you saying? Stop it. I'm like, you guys in the comments, give me something specific. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Yep. It's easy to say, pay the man. He's earned it. Pay him what? And how much? How many years?
On top of it, you're going to have to pay Tristan Wirfs. And if he performs like we think he can perform at the left tackle position, you're going to have to pay him top money. Antoine Winfield Jr., top money. If he can stay healthy this year and consistent because he's going back to his natural position. So they got some decisions to make. General manager is not necessarily the easiest job title, if you will. But, that organization knows how to rework contracts and make money go down and kick the can down the road. And once again, that salary cap every year is going to go up. So I have faith that they'll get it done, but you're exactly right. What are the terms? How much money does he want? How many years is it going to be? I still think you're gonna have to bite the bullet on this one because there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to be upset, and I don't see Mike Evans going anywhere. Just my
thought process. Here we go. Thank you. Finally, so we got some people that are understanding the assignment. $30 million, 5 years. It's too much.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. You're talking about guaranteed money, right? Guaranteed for 5 years. You want to pay Mike Evans 35 years old. You want to pay him $30 million a year. That's a bad contract. That's a very bad. The 34, it's a bad contract. He has a history of hamstring issues. Those don't get better as you get older. This just in. And this is blasphemy. I know people don't want to hear it, but this is real. This is real world stuff.
Yeah. All right. You want to continue to read the comments? Because we got
this one. Dude with the loud mouth thinking he knows everything. Dude, I'm just asking you. Give me a number. If you know everything, give me a number.
Yeah, or call in 727-255-0391 or the other number 727-409-7528. It's the JP Peterson.
All right, here's another one. Well, then you're going to sacrifice your team's chances at getting a franchise quarterback. F it, brass taxes. If we're bottom feeders, wake up. What you think will be without Evans? A football team, as much as I love Mike Evans, there are other receivers out there. There are other receivers in the draft. There are other receivers that will come along that will be really good players. You guys got to keep it real, man. Nobody loves Mike Evans more than I do. And he's proven everything he needs to prove, but he's getting older. It's father time. Receiver it's a young man's position. It's about speed, right? It's about speed and staying on the field and being available and being a consistent target, which Mike has done. But again, if you want to guarantee me the next 5 years of 1,000 yards plus 10 touchdowns, sure, I'll take that. I'll pay him. How are you going to guarantee that? How are you going to guarantee that? It's football. It doesn't work that way.
All right,
Christopher Cole. There we go. 4 years at $24 million. See, that's a little bit lower rate than the average value, but that's what, 96 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's a little more than I want, but I think I could go there.
That's
possible.
possible.
If I'm Jason Light, I could go there because you're getting less. You're getting probably $6 million a year in cap savings for average value, but you're guaranteeing another year on the back end. Okay. All right. I think I would go for that. And I think Jason Light would go for that. Jordan G says 4 years, $80 million. Yeah. If we guaranteed $80 million, Cooper got 60 or 75 million guaranteed. And this is what these guys care about is the guaranteed money. Devontae got 65 million, really probably because you're not going to cut him in 2 years. It's probably more like 75 million that he's going to make out of that contract, like guaranteed. So yeah, you're in the ballpark. So I think, yeah, I would. I said I wouldn't go to 4 years, but if you lower the AAV, I think, yeah. See, now we're having a discussion, folks. We're not pay the man. He's worth it. He's earned it. Okay. Now we're having a discussion. Thank you. Everybody wants to pay him. Nobody doesn't want to pay him. And look, the whole idea, well, we're gonna lose him at the end of this year. Listen, if the agent is going to demand something that's unreasonable, then yeah, you play it out and see if you can sign him in the offseason. If you can't, you can't, And again, if it's unreasonable, you don't want to sign the player. You can't be sentimental about long-term contracts because when you do, they bite you in the ass. And it keeps the entire organization hamstrung, pun intended, from moving on and winning a Super Bowl. Don't you guys want to win a Super Bowl? What's more important to you, winning a Super Bowl or keeping Mike Evans around forever? Buck for life.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think you want both, and at the end of the day,
can't have both, Peter. Don't be sitting on the fence, Peter. This is sports talk radio.
Well, it is sports talk radio, and I'll tell you right now, you kind of wonder if Jason Light and the organization go to his agent and say, you know what, you had 77 catches last year. Yeah, you had 1,000 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. It was kind of a down year. Can you kind of give us a break? You kind of wonder, and you look at those statistics. That is kind of a down year from the year previous, right?
Yeah, it is. And as you get older, receivers trend down. This just in. Again, folks, I love him more than anybody, but you got to be realistic about, what the future holds for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I would pay Mike Evans over Devin White because he's done more. But of course, there's people out there say, well, you lose Devin White. I just don't think you pay $20 million to a middle linebacker. I don't see that happening. I'd rather take that money, pay Wirfs, pay Antoine Winfield Jr., and of course pay a Mike Evans. But again,
absolutely. And the other guys that are going to come, what if I think Rachaad White's going to have a bust out year.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to eventually pay, I want to pay a running back big money, but you're going to have to pay him a little bit if you want to keep him around. There's going to be other players that come along that you're going to want to keep around. So yeah, give incentives. Absolutely. The incentives should be in there. Performance incentives should be in there because you want Mike to stay productive. 4 years, $55 million. Love you, bro, but that ain't going to get it done. Mike's not taking that.
No,
no way. All Yeah, this is an opinion show, folks. It's not fact. That's right. Everybody has an opinion.
Yes, it's a nice thing. It's called, free society. We're not going to.
We're asking for your opinion. Yes.
We're not going to ban you from the show. We're going
Right.
to try to let you talk. I mean, that's what we do here on the JP Peterson Show. Why do you think I'm involved with it in the first place?
This is a great point here. The glaring point here is that the team has made absolutely no offer. That's the gorilla in the room. I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's Ray Kennedy, by the way. And I don't believe that either, because all you've heard throughout the offseason is how they have been negotiating.
You think I'm not trustworthy, some of you? Let's look at the agent. No disrespect to agents in general. Agents in general are not, see, here's the thing. The Bucks could have made verbal offers like, hey, we're thinking more about this. We're thinking more about this. And they're saying, hey, we're thinking more about this. Have they put a contract on the table, slid it over and said, sign it? I don't know if that's what he means by have they made an offer. There's no reason to put anything on paper if you're miles away verbally. So, I mean, do you honestly think that Jason Licht, every time the agent calls, said, yeah, we're not interested in that. We're not talking to you. Wait, come at us next year. No, Jason has said multiple times, we're working on a contract. We're working on a contract. For the agent to say no offer has been made and for y'all to believe that, I think is a little silly. Come on now. We're better than that.
Yeah.
We're better than that. We always have to remember who the sources are here. Of course they've made an offer. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah.
You want me to text Jason Licht right now and say, have you made an offer verbally? Yeah, I'll do that in the break.
Get him on the show. Let's get Jason Licht on the show. Why not?
He's already said he's not gonna talk about it. We're gonna have him on the show.
Well, there you go.
In our next break, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have his sound from yesterday. We'll kind of get the gist of what he had to talk about when it comes down to the 53-man roster. And, of course, not answering the main question right now, which came out today from Adam Schefter about Mike Evans and a contract deadline by September 9th. You kind of also wonder, and you got to go back to this, does this become a distraction? Well, you got until the game before that, and then after that, I kind of think it is a distraction. So I would try to get him signed, sealed, and delivered as soon as possible so that distraction doesn't linger on for the whole season. Just my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you on that. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. If you guys want to call in, we have open phone lines. The phone lines are right down there at the bottom. And we'll take some more of your calls. We got to get a little bit more into the Gators situation, the Spectrum Disney debacle from last night, the Rays in Cleveland, Glass now going, lots of college football to talk about, FSU, LSU. Bring whatever you want in the comments. Mike Evans, we'll keep talking about that. Much more ahead here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance and the Gold and Diamond Source. It's their Labor Day sale starting today at the Gold and Diamond Source. 3 years, no interest, folks. 3 years, no interest. Sales all over the place. Get in there. The 4-day sale running through Monday. It's the best of the year at the Gold and Diamond Source. To thank you all for working so hard. Those of you who actually work out there. Thank you. Go to the Gold and Diamond Source and buy something really shiny. Great deals. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work, you save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance
Free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa, and for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with JP Peterson. Again, open phone lines if you want to get in and talk about this Mike Evans situation. You should do it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. This coming from Ian Rappaport. Tyreek Hill will not face any suspension or anything of sorts with what happened in the postseason or, offseason. And then also, according to ESPN, they have invited California, SMU, and Stanford to the ACC for all sports starting in 24-25. Your thoughts?
Don't like it.
Yeah.
All the more reason to get the hell out if you're FSU. Cal, Stanford. Really?
Yes.
Come on.
Right.
SMU, at least they take football seriously at those places. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, Cal, Stanford, Cal? I mean, Aaron Rodgers? Okay. That was a while ago.
25
What
years.
the hell has Cal done in football besides the band? That's Cal Stanford. That's their only contribution to college football has been he's running through the band. That's it. Wasn't that Cal Stanford? I think it was.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, Cal Stanford. This is what these ACC team. Look, I'm over the ACC. FSU is over the ACC, and I know this is to get Florida State more money. Which okay, you want to bump it up, but no. I have no. If I'm FSU, they're voting. I'm sure they're voting against this, but maybe they'll be coerced into voting for it. I haven't seen the details of the actual deal, but if FSU's agreeing to it, then I guess maybe it's going to get them more money, get them in line. Look, if they're going to give FSU more money, or whoever wins the conference, I think that's how they're going to set this up. If you get in the conference championship game, you get more money. If you win the conference, you get more money. Okay, that's fine. FSU can go earn it. But look, FSU is the brand that's holding up the ACC. Nobody cares about basketball anymore. This just in. Except for a month of the year, nobody cares about college basketball anymore. It just is what it is. Yeah. It doesn't bring eyeballs and ratings in terms of, you get a lot of inventory. ESPN gets a lot of inventory for basketball games, but nobody really cares. It's football. Football is the golden goose, and FSU has been propping up this league and Clemson for far too long. And they need to, people can say what they want. Oh, your FSU's crying. They want more. They want to compete. I'm a Seminole. I don't want to sit in a conference that's not going to allow me to compete at the highest level, because you guys are, more interested in inviting Cal and Stanford and in doing your little academic things and patting each other on the back about your academic ratings and stuff like that. Good for you. Do that in academic settings. But when it comes to conferences and football, I need money to compete. It's the NIL world. All right. Sorry. I'm not going to go to war with Alabama and Florida and Miami and my rivals with $40 million less in cap money, really, so to speak, in NIL. Not doing it. So, unless this is just going to stuff more money into my pockets, I'm sorry. I have to be, it's a self-interest time, I'm not a socialist when it comes to this. We bring the brand that brings the rest of you guys money in college football. Nobody's tuning in to see Duke and Wake Forest play football. Nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares. Okay. So I'm sorry. And I know Wake Forest beat us last year. Shut up.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Shut up.
Exactly.
But
yes.
My point is, they've been good. They've been really good. And we sucked for a while. I mean, let's just put it right out there. But even as bad as FSU has sucked, right? Their brand still remains. They still, their ratings are among the top 10 in college football. Every time they play, they get, I think, 3 or 4 million people watching. That's when we sucked. Now, like this game coming up on Sunday night, I mean, the eyeballs on that, the ratings are going to be through the freaking roof.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Absolutely. It's just, so Cal, Stanford, it's embarrassing. The SEC is laughing at us. They are. And the Big Ten, they're all laughing at us. Cal, Stanford,
and SMU.
I'm like, SMU, Pony Express, let's go. I'm like, at least they got some football players in Texas. They have people that actually care about the game. Nobody gives a rat's ass about college football at Berkeley. All they care about is, smoking weed, dressing up in their hippie gear, and go out and protesting because it was hot yesterday. I got no time. I got no time for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
SMU,
right?
Put that on a clip and smoke it.
Yeah. What? The only team in NCAA history to receive the death penalty?
SMU.
Yeah.
That means they care, bro. That means they care about winning. I'll take that program over Cal, Stanford, but when it comes to football,
right?
I mean, look, if I'm in a poetry writing contest or most pronouns on my emails contest, I'll get Cal and Stanford in. They're good. We'll win that.
Right.
But if I'm talking about college football, I have no use for them.
No use at all.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Absolutely.
Tally has no use for him. Just like put me to sleep. Cal, Stanford, who cares?
You got Clemson and Duke opening up Monday night, right?
Yeah.
Is it also? I mean, does anybody care about that besides Clemson fans? Duke, really?
Duke's got a good quarterback. They got they've been all right. They've been all right.
Cutcliffe is still there.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. No, wait, they got a new coach.
Do they?
I forget. Yeah, they got a good quarterback though.
Yeah,
and we'll see. Let's get to some of the other comments. We got a lot of comments today, bro.
Yes, Facebook. Yes, I'm trying to build this up on Facebook, man. Trying to get some more interaction.
Well done. The All Clemson Conference ACC. What? Shut up. You know what? Hey, listen. Until we beat them again, you're right.
Hold on. Shut up. There you go.
We turn out NFL Hall of Famers like nothing. But first of all, Mike Evans is not a Hall of Famer yet, folks. I got news for you. Making 1,000 yards a year for 9, that's a great record. Go look at the receivers that have piled up numbers like Mike Evans that are not in the Hall of Fame. He needs 2 or 3 good more years. And maybe, Mike said he wants to stay here. So I'm going to take him at his word.
Yeah.
But if he goes someplace else where he can pile up more yards with maybe a better, more stable quarterback position, I love Baker Mayfield. I think Mike's going to have a hell of a year.
Right.
I was watching Good Morning Football today, and they did a draft, 4-person draft of wide receivers. No Godwin, no Evans.
No Godwin, no Evans at all. None.
Out of 16 receivers.
That's the disrespect right there.
Total disrespect.
Complete disrespect. And that's why I tell a lot of Tampa Bay fans on my other show, the Sports Web, look, appreciate the time that you have with these wide receivers. They're not divas. They go about it in a professional manner, and you barely ever see this on a football team. You barely ever see it. They're all divas. They all have an attitude. So enjoy it while you can, and hopefully for the duration of Evans and Godwin's career with the Bucs. I don't want to see them with anybody else. I mean, who wanted to see Warren Sapp with the Raiders? Nobody. Now, well, yes, I know.
No, listen, I said this at the time.
Right.
And yeah, did it have something to do with him spitting on my shoes every time I had to go interview him?
Oh, that's ridiculous. Well, I got a story to tell you.
But let me finish this thought real quick.
Yeah.
When he was up for a deal, I went out. You would go and look at defensive tackles, prolific defensive tackles. When they hit 30 years old, it's over. It is over. Very few. Like Calais Campbell is the absolute outlier.
Freak.
And he's played more outside than inside most of his career. But those guys are there. It's tough in the trenches, bro. And when you hit 30, your knees are shot. You're done. The first year in Oakland was good for him. Look at the remaining years of that contract. Not so good. Not so good for Warren Sapp. And when and people lost their minds, right? They lost their minds when they let him go. But that was not a good contract that he signed in Oakland. Good for him, but not for the team. Those certain positions, you don't pay running backs after 30. You don't pay interior defensive linemen after 30. It's too hard in there. They're shot. Yeah. So yeah, and that's where you can't have your heart, running the wallet. Can't do it.
That's a tough thing, because of being a fan, you're emotionally attached to it, and then there's also a business side of it, and most fans don't want to hear that business side of it. But we brought up the points today. You got Tristan Wirfs, you have to re-sign. You got Antoine Winfield Jr. You're going to have to re-sign, and also you could possibly have a guy who's already unhappy with his contract situation, and Devin White, that you have to re-sign if you want to. I don't think you're going to pay him $20 million, but we'll see.
Hell no.
We'll definitely see. But he was talking about FSU, by the way. So,
here's one. So I'm guessing you have Spectrum, because clearly you didn't see Florida play last night. I don't think you'll be going to war with that team. Listen, first of all, we haven't got it. I just mentioned it at the beginning, but I want to get into this a little bit more. What Spectrum and Disney did last night is deplorable. And if you do business with either one of those companies, stop doing business with them, because they don't give a crap about you. And that is so unprofessional. Everybody knew that deal was up at midnight, and everybody expected to see that game last night. To pull the rug out, whether it was Spectrum or Disney, I still haven't figured which one it is, but I think it was Disney. I don't know why Spectrum would do that. That doesn't really benefit them in any way, but it's certainly that sounds like a Disney move, right? Mm-hmm. That's a real Disney move. That's an ESPN move. And, if that was a big NBA game, they wouldn't have done it. I'm just going to say that. But this is, it's ridiculous that you would do that to your customers, both of them. You got Bob Iger's making $50 million a year. I don't know what the idiot they name it, Spectrum. He's making $41.8 million a year. These CEOs, they're ridiculous, and they want to jump in and screw over the viewers. And now Disney, they have all this stuff. Listen, the reason this happened is because Disney went woke, and now they're going broke because all their subscriptions dried up. Done. So now they're hemorrhaging cash. They had to fire everybody at ESPN, and now they're coming to the cable companies to get their money and going to hold them hostage. And guess what? Spectrum said, "Nah, we're not doing it. Screw you." So I don't. People say this might get worked out soon. Spectrum has the second most customers in America. ESPN, Disney have basically 20 different properties that are a vast majority that people watch, but I'm telling you, I don't think. Listen, I'm already. You know what? I didn't see Sports Center this morning. I went and watched Good Morning Football. Much better to watch. I watch Major League Baseball, the highlight show pitch. Watch that. So I'll go find it other places. And I just think it's disgusting what both of these corporate greedy bastards did. And you should not do business with them going forward. Either one of them. There are other outlets to get sports news. I know there's a lot of big games like this one tomorrow night, Yeah. You know what? I watched the Florida game last night. There's plenty of places you can watch it on the web.
Well, yeah.
Plenty of places.
You got to find those places, but I feel like...
It's not hard. It's not hard to do it. You got to click through a couple of ads.
Right.
It's not hard. Screw them.
Well, Spectrum should be giving everybody's money back. Honestly,
damn right.
If you're a customer and you pay for those sports packages and you're not getting what you pay for, Spectrum, whether they're getting into a fight with Disney or not, they should refund all their customers. But guess what? They won't, right, because they're both billion-dollar entities at the end of the day.
Screw them. You don't have to do business with them.
That's it.
You do not have to do business with them.
No.
And I'm here to tell you, if you cancel your Spectrum right now, you got to pay up to the end of the month. I'm just sitting there. I'm telling you, like that, I wouldn't pay it, and take me to court because you didn't give me what you told me you were going to give me. You said you were going to give me ESPN. I didn't get it. And now you want me to pay for it? That's not how this works.
Nope.
Take me to court. I'll win.
I agree. And here's the problem. I have to pay for Spectrum in order to run my show and run this show right here. And I'm paying out the wazoo. There's no other alternative to get Wi-Fi here. There's none.
Starlink.
I don't think they have it here.
Starlink comes from up there. I should have looked into this first, but Starlink is now operating, and I'm pretty sure you can get it anywhere.
Really? All right.
Yeah. I got to look into it, but that's what Elon promised me. I get my Wi-Fi from space. So
look at this.
What he told me.
Look at this guy right here. There he is. Look at that, Nick Geddes.
Yes, screw Spectrum, Nick. You're goddamn right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right, we got to hit another break, and I want to get to all these commenters. You can hit us up on the phone lines too. We got to thank our great sponsors to go to Diamond Source Extravaganza Productions. If you got a big event coming up, folks, they are the ones. I've worked with them at the Warrior Games, the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. They are fantastic. They'll do your birthday party. You got a big one coming up. You got a charity event. You got a business meeting, matter big or small. They got great creative ideas. They got a warehouse full of great stuff that you can check out, and they'll do a creative session with you to kind of figure out what the cost is going to be and what they can do for you for free if you mention the JP Peterson Show. So give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. Extravaganzaproductions.com. Take the free session. They'll give you a tour of the freaking that warehouse. They have a Game of Thrones throne. You could sit in the throne and take a picture for Instagram. But give them a call at extravaganzaproductions.com. Back in a bit.
Mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance
Free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome. Do you have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, well, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald, the best in the business. If you're looking to refi, which you should do if you have your credit cards piling up like so many of us do,
Don't
get
take
that,
advice from
get
me.
that 6% refi instead of the 29% you're paying on your credit cards. He'll get it done for you, help you out in all your personal finances. He'll look at all of it and say, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Lower your monthly nut. That way you can spend more money. Use their money, not your money. That is the way they do it at American Mortgage Services. So give them an email. Hit them up through email, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. Great guy, and we'll help you out, and all for free too. We'll look at all that for you for free.
Nice.
All right, we got the phone calls there, partner.
We don't have any phone calls yet, but the phone lines are open. Lots of comments, though. Lots of interaction. In fact, I even got offered a free Fire Stick. Well, here we go. Pete, hit me up. I'll make you one on my house. On the house. PM me when you get a chance. Oh,
so what does the Fire Stick do?
Well, it gives you all those channels you pay for with Spectrum. I tell you what, save that thought. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Charles from Port Charlotte.
What's going on, Charles?
Not much. I wanted to go ahead and comment on the ESPN thing and also the Mike Evans thing too. I know
Okay.
I'm late to the party.
It's all right.
But ESPN, honestly, I work in the cable industry. ESPN basically is the same as every other cable company. They're just negotiating a new deal. And they went black on Spectrum. Well, CBS, I think everybody's heard of them. They went black on Dish Network for a number of days. NFL Network went black on Xfinity. So they're playing the game just like any other cable channel. What it really boils down to is money. Every channel, all 300 plus channels out there, negotiate a deal. And Spectrum or the cable companies, it's up to them to pay out the price that they're asking. And what's going to happen is they don't pay out, they go dark. Whatever is on, whether it be a big-time basketball game, the Super Bowl, trust me, it doesn't matter what programming is on. At midnight, that plug is pulled.
Yeah, but Charles, they didn't pull the plug at midnight. They pulled the plug at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, before
That's the
game.
difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Everybody knew that it was going off at midnight, or a lot of people, if you were interested in it, we all thought we would be able to see the Gator game, and then we'll figure it out tomorrow, right? This is the first time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. You're in the industry. It's the first time I've ever seen somebody do it prematurely, just to be a vindictive asshole. And I don't know. And maybe you could tell me, was it Spectrum or was it Disney? From what I can tell, it was Disney.
No, it's Spectrum. And
so
here's
Spectrum
why.
pulled the plug.
Yeah,
early.
Because I'm getting ESPN on Xfinity down here in Port Charlotte.
Oh no, that's not the point. No, they pulled the plug. ESPN didn't pull the plug on everybody. They just pulled it on Spectrum. So I wanted to know, and again, who was it? Disney that shut off the feed to Spectrum, or did Spectrum shut off or just go dark, not refuse the feed at 8 o'clock?
The cable companies control what goes on their channels. So if they don't get a deal, Disney, ESPN, whatever.
I know that, but I'm trying to figure out who did it early. Who did it early last night? Anyway,
pulled the plug.
Okay.
The cable company pulling the plug.
Here, I'll read an email from one of my good friends who sent me. He said, I rushed home last night, sit down to watch the Gator game. 1 minute before they effing cut the thing off. I'm canceling Spectrum today. I don't care whose fault it is. Unacceptable. I'm still so pissed. Disney did it too. F all the Florida people, but Spectrum is a greedy bastard also. Going to YouTube. Yeah, I think Spectrum screwed themselves. I think Disney continues to screw themselves. That just feels like to me that it's something Disney would do, because they don't give a rat's ass about anybody but themselves.
It's all the channels raping the cable companies, because all the channels going up. It really is. It's the channels going up. It's raping people. And guess what? In return, all the pricing for cable goes up, and everybody's wanting to go streaming. I don't want to go be on my soapbox, but that's what's happening.
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
Sliced bread, honestly. And I work for Xfinity.
Yeah. Well, Xfinity still has ESPN, right?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have a lot more installs, bro. You're gonna be busy. You're gonna be really busy because everybody's dropping Spectrum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, congratulations. It's gonna go to Xfinity. All right, what did you want to say about the Mike Evans deal?
So as far as Mike Evans goes, I'm not exactly sure what's happening in regards to that, but if they don't want to go ahead and show any love to Mike Evans, who's been solid and consistent. I don't know if it's a money deal, if Mike's asking for too much or for whatever, but he's been entwined with the Buccaneers for so long that it would be a shame if they don't lock him up for the rest of his career. It would be a shame. And if that doesn't get done, and I fully get Mike. Listen, by September 9th, beginning of the regular season, we're not going to hold these discussions anymore. We're going to focus on football, which I love. I love that he said that. But the Buccaneers need to do their due diligence and find out what's it going to take for you to stay. Because you take away Evans, okay, you got Godwin. But Godwin's not going to go ahead and rack up what Evans does. And the reason why they work so well together is because you can't double up on both of them. One's going to go ahead and
so Charles, what are you going to pay? What are you want to make him $1 for life? Is that you're going to pay him 5 years, $30 million a year for the next 5 years? You're going to pay Mike Evans at 35 years old with his tweaky hamstrings $30 million a year when he's 35?
He's gonna respect probably the top 5 out there.
No, I'm saying, but so you think at 35 years old, it's in the Bucs' best interest to pay him $30 million a year, guaranteed?
I would say as long as he produces. I mean, what's
well? That's the thing. That's the thing. You can't. You don't know. You don't know. You have to make a guess. Is he going to be productive at 34? Is he going to be productive at 35? We don't know. All we can do is look at historical precedent, and wide receivers slow down after the age of 31, 32, and they get injured. Look at Cooper Kupp. He signed a big deal, missed 8 games last year, and has got a hamstring problem this year as he turns 30. Mike's had a history of hamstring problems. Listen, it pains me to say it. I love Mike Evans more than I think he's one of the greatest Bucs of all time. He's everything you want in a teammate, in a community member. He's everything. But this is a business, and it's like I said, I give him 3 years, $25 million, 4 years, $20 million, $80 million, $75 million guaranteed. 3-4 years is tops when I'm going out for him. But I think he deserves that. I'm not
saying to sign him to like a 10-year deal or anything like that. Just get him the rest of get him to 34, 35. And even if he starts slowing down, it's just his size and the threat that's out there that causes people to pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if he starts running a 4.8, they ain't going to pay attention. I can tell you that right now.
No, but you know what? When it gets down into the 10-yard line, guess what? The Baker or whoever's back there taking snaps throws it up, and Mike Evans will get it with ease.
Well, that hasn't been the case. He only had 6 touchdowns last year with Tom Brady.
Well, that's also where I don't even get me started.
Thanks, Charles. Awesome call, buddy. Get to work, man. You got a lot of installs to do. Get off the phone.
Yeah, he does. And again, lots of comments, lots of emotion about this situation, and that's
there should be.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, Facebook. Who's this Fire Stick guy? I need one.
This is Jimmy Gazeta, who was saying before. Yes, he was saying about Florida State producing Hall of Famers, not necessarily Mike Evans. So
okay, gotcha.
He's right. And this is what he also has to say. By getting rid of Evans, it's a domino effect. They won't double team Evans with the best corner and safety. They'll turn to Godwin, who will have no help. So then we get a check down Charlie team when it takes away any chance of landing a proven quarterback that wants to come to a team and win. A player like Kyler Murray, who's a proven winner, I would love to have him on our team, but getting rid of
Kyler Murray, proven winner. What?
Kyler Murray. I don't know about that.
Listen, again, we're making an argument about whether the Bucs are better with Mike Evans or worse.
Yeah.
Duh. Of course they're better with Mike Evans. Yeah. The question is, if Mike's going to play this year, he's not going to not play. Okay, he's going to play. The question is, moving forward, do we want to pay Mike Evans when he's 34, 35, 36 years old, a guaranteed $30 million a year? Because that's what I think his agent is asking for. His agent wrote a really nice long – what he didn't mention in there was how much are you asking for and for how many years? Why don't you tell me that? And then if you're saying we're asking for 3 years guaranteed like Devontae Adams and the Bucs are saying no, I say, well, then the Bucs are wrong. The Bucs are wrong. If Devontae got 65 guaranteed, Kupp got 75 guaranteed, that's where this deal should be. 3 years in that area. No more, no less. In my opinion.
I say 4 years. I go 4 years. 4 years, make the last year optional, something along those lines. Or you could do some voidable years to make the contract seem a little bit longer than it really is.
Well, the voidable years are going to come. I mean, they're going to do that. And that's all. You don't want to get into that on the front side because they're going to restructure his deal 3 more times and add more voidable years. So I try to get down to the brass tacks of it, right? How many years, how much guaranteed? That's the real money when it comes into it. And to simplify it. I mean, we could get into, let's give him a 5-year deal, 2 years voidable, plus a signing. I mean, we'll keep it simple, do the guaranteed money. And I think that's the best way to kind of get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Let me ask you this. Were you surprised by Ryan Jensen and what came out that he did a solid for the Bucs with, basically reducing the dead money there to a certain degree because it was reported over the cap. I mean, once again,
no, of course not.
Okay.
No, of course that's what Ryan Jensen. I mean, wouldn't you do that? You just got paid $26 million to play one game.
One game.
I know. I mean, if you got a decent bone in your body, yeah, that's what you're doing, right? I mean,
yes.
Come on. Let's not throw the man bouquets for that. All right. Let's not. Oh, thanks, man. No, I mean, come on. And he'd be the first one to tell you that, by the way.
Of course.
Look, and my question for Ryan is, does he really have the desire and the want to come back? He's got to go through, and then with his situation, sometimes guys get career-ending injuries. That's just the way it goes, and this to me was a career-ending injury. The lateral movement cartilage piece of this whole thing is something I don't fully understand, but I have to take him at his word that surgery was not going to help it and might have made it worse. So people want to still argue, well, he should have got the conventional surgery. Well, listen, the ligaments healed like a conventional surgery would have done, but it's that cartilage issue that is the problem. And evidently the stem cells did not grow the cartilage back to the point where he could move and it was pain-free. So sometimes this shit just happens and it sucks. But it seems to me like there's not an amount of rehab that's going to make this change,
Yeah.
So my sense is Ryan's probably played his last. And I also get a sense that, from that emotional press conference he had, the first one he did with his kid that was there.
Yep.
I think he knows that. And I think he's, it sucks, but I think he and his family, I think his family, from what I know of them, are pretty much, resigned to, hey, daddy, that's enough. And that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing.
It is. Absolutely.
Here's one. I never even heard of this. I use Dofu Sports to circumvent Spectrum. And as far as money hungry Disney goes, they can live off their theme park, Disney Springs. You know what, though? When you got to pay your CEO $50 million, that ain't enough. And your board of directors, every one of them probably making another $30 million too. So, yeah.
And
how much are the employees making over there, by the way? Why don't you spread a little bit of that money around, Fat Iger? Why don't you do that? God.
By the way, Dofu Sports does work. It is sports, not C Sports. It's sports, but yes, it does work.
Thomas says Starlink is running in half of Tampa and mobile. There you go, baby.
Well, half of Tampa.
Screw Spectrum, baby.
I'm up here in Holiday. I'm up here in Holiday. I
still think that's under. I'm not sure how the Starlink thing works. I don't want to speak out of turn, but it comes from space. So, I mean, you're covered by space, aren't you?
I think
they were talking. I heard the governor talk about it in one of his press conferences. Like, if the power goes out, or not the power, I guess if you have a generator, you need power to run whatever device you're running.
Sure.
But as far as if your internet goes out, you can use Starlink.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
all right.
It comes from space.
It comes from space. Amazing. And I was trying to get Frontier because I like Frontier. I like 2G up, 2G down. And of course, it's all about the up, not necessarily the down.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Nick Geddes said they increased his bill by $15 last week only to pull this move. What? Boy, you bitches, Spectrum. You increased it thinking you're going to pay ESPN more, and you charge your customers, and then they shut it off on you. Oh, my God. As much as I hate Spectrum, I'm guessing that this was Disney who screwed it. It's such a Disney move. It's such a Disney move.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Spectrum would do it to get everybody on their side. So how do you do it? How do you create emotion? Well, you do it right before a Florida Gator college football game where everybody's looking forward to it. This is a Spectrum move to me all day long and all night long.
We haven't talked about a couple other things that we got to get to. First of all, the game last night, the Florida game, way too many penalties in crucial situations. Yes, the under hit Harry the Greek, who said it was going over. I told him it was going under. And I even gave the Gators 7 points at the end there with that horrible SEC ref call that Pearsall caught that ball that turned over and was rolling on the carpet. And then they throw a touchdown pass the next play, whatever. I thought that was like, oh, crap, that's going to put the game over. Now I'm screwed. Yeah. But it ended up the Gators not scoring again, nor did Utah. So comfortably under last night with that one. But, the two false start penalties were awful. Our boy Trey Wilson catching that ball, the punt that put him in a bad situation, another mental error. The 2 number 3s on the field at the same time, giving Utah a first down. They turned that into 7 points. Now, I'm seeing all this. Our boy TJ Pittenger just put this out, and I have to disagree. There's a lot of similarities. I don't disagree with the similarities because he got that part right between the Willie Taggart. That's why they're calling him Billy Taggart over there. Between they're both 6 and 8. By the way, this is the same thing they said about Mike Norvell. They wrote something in the paper about that. I remember that Mike Marvell and Willie Taggart were the same. I was like, I think I see something different. Both followed coaches who quit on their teams. Talk about Willie and Billy. Fans blame the old coach for as long as they can. Yeah. Jimbo Fisher. Outgain a major opponent, but still lose by 2 scores, Virginia Tech and Utah. Lack of organization, penalties, awful play calling, abysmal special teams, 0-6 versus rivals, 6 and 8 in first 14 games. So, I mean, a lot of that's true. But I just say this, and what I said to TJ on Twitter is, you know what Willie never did? Put together a number 2 recruiting class, which is what Napier has right now. And that's the game. That's the game, folks. You can't really tell if Napier can coach yet, to me. Same thing with Norvell. It was hard to tell during the COVID year and then year 2, but there were signs that there was more organization, there was more desire. They were getting rid of the bad actors. So you saw some definite growth in that team. You saw more fight in the team. That was one thing I noticed about when Norvell came in. They were still bad, but they fought. They fought their asses off, and they played hard. They did not play hard for they quit at Louisville and a bunch of other places for Willie. The players just quit on him. So that there's a difference. I don't see these Gator players quitting yet. We'll see how this season goes, but that's how you find out the guys that should be here and not be there anyway. So I mean, here I am, the Knoll, like propping up Billy Napier, whatever. But I'd say wait on that.
The red flag is for me the critical penalties at critical times. That's on coaching. That's on technique. And we're talking about stupid penalties like motion, stuff that just drives you wild. To me, that is a direct reflection of coaching, and it has to be cleaned up if you want to compete in the SEC. And furthermore, when you get your first 3rd down conversion in the 4th quarter, early in the 4th quarter, you got problems. 1 for 13 ain't going to get it done for this team going forward. It will not get it done.
All right. Great job today, Peter Blake. We reached a lot more people today. I know that for sure. Good job. Whatever you did, let's keep that going. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, 2 hours every day, live, Tampa Bay centric sports talk. I've been doing this for a bunch of years. Peter been doing it for a lot of years. You got folks that have been doing this, and we've been around a little bit. We know what we're doing, know what we're talking about. So join the show. Tell everybody about it. We're getting ready to blow up even more coming up in the next few weeks. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great weekend, and go Noles. Yeah, put that song.
Yeah, right there, right? I need to put that on. I'll tell you what. Here it is, right here.